move to the next one. You had an interjection.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, all these noises about opening servers and not opening server, I think what must come out very clearly, that an electoral management system or program in any country appreciates the fact that there is usually, as part of our best practice, a process to audit the election results. That's provided for. And I think it is something that even us in Azimio, we don't have to ask for it. It should be part of the process of IEBC. And that's an international...
Beyond the review by the Supreme Court,
yeah,
should come in.
Even without going through the Supreme Court, it should be part of the internal standard of IEBC. But that after happens. Every election,
they actually audit the elections. Like 2017 was audited.
No,
and a report released.
No. You see, the kind of thing they call audit is not.
You don't trust it.
Is not what.
Senator, you just said an internal process.
It does not meet international standards.
How do you know?
Remember that point.
Did you look at the audit report of 2017?
Yeah, I looked at it. In fact, we even questioned that report, because it didn't meet international standards. So what we are saying, if IEBC really has to do its constitutional
wait a minute.
role, because
Senator,
the Constitution...
do you remember receiving a series of proposed amendments under JLAC of the National Assembly by IEBC based on the review of the 2017 election?
The amendments to which act?
Several. There was the one on campaign financing. There was electoral laws themselves.
And you know what happened with campaign financing?
So what I'm asking is, do you remember such kind of products being brought to the House?
Yes, they were brought towards the tail end. And I wanted to tell you,
about time.
Election financing.
If it was brought, and it's a product of auditing the 2017 election, isn't that what you're talking about, an internal process?
No. I'm talking about the results audit.
Why do you need to...
The results...
Why do you need IEBC to audit its own results?
Yeah, it's provided for in law. If you look at the Constitution says election must be secure, must be verifiable. When we talk about verifiable, we are talking about all these processes, audit, verification, and all this.
So when should this...
That aspect of verifiable election...
Where does it happen? When?
That aspect of verifiable election happens during the entire process, from registration of voters, compilation of the register, the voting process, the counting, and even after the results have been announced.
So the essence is to ensure that you announce the right
post-result evaluation, verification. Because it's provided for in the...
No, what I'm asking is, when you are voted for,
yes,
results were taken from the polling station to the county.
Yes.
And the county returning officer received all these forms.
Yeah.
And your agents were there, and the agents of other political parties and other candidates, and they looked at each of those.
Yes.
In essence, that's what they are supposed to do. That is the verification of results, isn't it?
Yes.
So once you do that, anyone who is dissatisfied, they go to court. And the court, you can go up to the Supreme Court if dissatisfied. What other verification do you want IEBC to do beyond that of the results?
You see, I have mentioned there is that verification that happens within the process. But now, after the results have been announced, it is important, as part of the international best practice, for IEBC to go back and carry out a further verification of the process and of the outcome.
Which is what I'm telling you.
So what we are asking for is the verification of the outcome of presidential election. Because questions have been raised.
If an election has been challenged in court,
the
highest court in the land, and an outcome given by the Supreme Court, you're auditing as IEBC to do what with that?
But
it's a best practice. It's a best practice. You see, it doesn't mean it's the end. It's not the end. It's a best practice. And again, you remember...
You know, Senator...
You know, I started...
Let's be candid here. We are wait. We are constitutional democracy, right?
Yes.
So we're guided by the law.
Yes.
So the election is conducted and organized and conducted by the IEBC.
Yes.
They present their results and they say, Senator I mean, Godfrey Osotsi is the senator of Vihiga. If anyone is opposed to that, they go to court. So the court comes and calls IEBC, calls you, calls the complainant and say, based on what we've looked at, you're the rightful winner or you are not. So IEBC is reviewing those results to do what with that outcome after the court has pronounced itself?
Well,
by the Constitution.
Remember I said, with court or without court, IEBC, as part of international best practice, they are obligated to continuously carry out verification.
Audit
Even
processes,
after,
not verification of results.
No, verification is part of audit process. Number two, Sam, we must acknowledge that the Constitution provides for the right of access to information, which is not limited in terms of time.
You made that point, Senator.
You can exercise that
Senator,
right any time.
You made that point. So
yes.
Let's move on to...
Let me, I want to help my good friend here. And one of the things I've realized, Sam, is Africans, we have a challenge with the election process. And the biggest reason why we have a challenge is the trust in our institutions. I want to tell you, Sam, that by 9 p.m. the day of elections, besides waiting for my results, I had already sent the president the results he got in Manyata. Simply because the process was so clear and it was very strict that immediately after the tally is closed, the presidential elections are actually counted. After counting, there is a process of uploading. And after uploading on the server, now the others will continue. It was so clear that anybody, access to information of what Senator is talking about here, was so easy that even a village, if you are somewhere in Vihiga, you could have downloaded everything in this country about those results. Kenyan's election is ranking so high. Kenyan's election process is ranking so high in Africa that some countries need to come and benchmark here. The problem is the fact that the Azimio side has actually punctured the process of the constitution of the IEBC. We are waiting to hear what they have in mind. They said Kenya Kwanza want to form the IEBC. We said they can even bring Oburu Odinga. And we are ready to listen to them so that we have an IEBC that is working, that is going to work on our boundary review and is able to actually prepare for the 2027 elections in a timely manner. We don't have time. And I'll tell you, Sam, all these things are political. The argument on election is basically something that keeps Azimio rolling. It is a political narrative that keeps them talking. And I will tell you something. And the reason why Azimio right now is talking, you hear everything is about the dialogue committee. Because that's the only thing they have. That's the only thing.
True, not true.
And the fact of the matter is,
no, not true.
We are going to have this conversation. If something happens, now we go back to the street. Oh, we go back to the street. Yeah. That is the modus operandi of our opposition today. And it is unfortunate.
Okay.
Very unfortunate.
I want us to transition and talk about, I mean,